I was thinking today about how there are certain things in our lives that prevent us from taking things too far. And some of those things are really extreme, and some of those things are not so extreme. An example would be a fire alarm or a smoke alarm. It detects smoke before things get out of hand, so you can go, oh, wait a second, there's a fire happening, there's some sort of problem going on, and then you can hopefully address that problem before it gets out of hand, before there actually is a fire. And then, maybe it goes off because of carbon monoxide poisoning. And you can hear that alarm before anything gets out of hand, and you can say, hey, wait a second, where is that leak? Let's find that leak and take care of that problem before it gets to the point of no return. So I feel like there are some things like that in software and maybe in some hardware as well that helps the user know, hey, wait a second, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to go ahead with this? Or, hey, wait a second, there's too much of X, Y, Z, and maybe you should do something about it. So I started thinking about that a little bit more, and I realized though we do have some things like that, like for example, in Gmail, if you want to change a filter or change properties to a lot of emails, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to change it to all of these emails? And you have to click yes or no. Or when you're clearing your trash bin or recycle bin on your computer, it'll say, are you sure you want to delete all of these items? There's all sorts of things like that that pop up in software that help us make sure that we don't make the wrong mistake. And at the very least, it just helps us give us just a little bit context that can help us in a really big way. But what I'm wondering is, what if we took it further? What if we added more things like that to software that apply to more subtle things, like a very light smoke happening, or like the expression when you put the frog in the pot of water and you just slowly turn the heat up, the frog doesn't realize that the water is going to get really hot at some point. So I'm curious, if we add those types of prompts to our software, maybe specifically productivity software, will those things affect us in bigger ways than we could ever imagine? Maybe. I feel like we haven't really tested it enough to really know for sure, but I will definitely say that if a person were to say to me, tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, Jeff, are you sure you want to do this? Because in 5 years, this is what's going to happen. Or, hey, Jeff, if you don't do this in 10 years, this bad thing's going to happen. I probably would listen to that person. Wouldn't you? If someone you know, especially someone you trust, is giving you that advice, giving you that warning. And even if you don't have someone around in your life right now that can help you with these kind of things and give you these little reminders and these little pushes, there's still a handful of people online that give advice and write books and all that kind of stuff, podcasts, and you can learn from them. But at the end of the day is you still have to remember those things. You still have to write those things down and then remember to check the place you wrote those things down. And it can really get away from you. So what if software could just put that stuff in it? You don't have to ever worry about it. But then before anything bad gets out of hand, whether it's going to be in the future or maybe sometime soon, the application you're using can say, hey, wait a second, this might be a problem and you should be aware of it. And maybe you could set it up so that it reminds you every week or every month to the point where you actually can't forget, because the problem is just staring you in the face constantly, thanks to the software, these programs, these applications helping you out along the way. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Do you think that software can really help people take things to the next level? And most importantly, do you think software can help prevent big problems from happening a lot sooner than we'd expect? Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'll see you in a future video.